This forest is right next to a village. If you listen carefully, you can still hear the sounds of village life, people talking, children playing, and sometimes the sound of people passing by. But just a few steps farther, those sounds slowly begin to fade. And the sounds of nature begin to take their place. Birds singing. The wind moving through the trees. And the dry leaves crunching beneath my feet. I love nature for moments like this. I love nature itself. And I simply love being in it. Sometimes we go into nature not because we have somewhere to go. We just go. We walk, we look around, and for a few hours, we leave behind our everyday lives. Our work. Our hurry. And all those thoughts that fill our minds every day. I love walking without a destination and simply seeing where the path takes me. For me, every path is a small adventure. Every turn might reveal something new. A different tree. An unknown path. A bird whose song you can't tell where it is coming from. Or a tree that has been pulled from its roots and left lying on the ground. You don't always have to know what you are going to find. Sometimes, not knowing is part of the beauty. You simply keep walking. After walking a little farther, the sounds of the village have almost disappeared. Now there is only the forest. And me. Slowly, my mind moves away from the noise of everyday life. Work, responsibilities, hurry, and worries. They all seem to move into the background. Nature, without saying a word, gives me permission to breathe. For me, that is what being in nature means. Quieting the mind. Getting away from everyday life. Walking without hurry. And simply enjoying being here. But when the mind becomes quiet, something else can happen. Sometimes a forgotten memory comes back. A moment from your life. A person. Or a simple image from years ago. It is as if the peace of the forest opens an old room in your mind. And this is where my friend comes into the story. Nature affects him in a rather strange way. He hears the birds, looks at the trees, feels the leaves beneath his feet, and suddenly enters another world. For example, he might suddenly ask me, "Do you think a giraffe could fall in love with a mouse?" I say, "What?" He says, "Do you think it's possible?" I say, "Buddy, we're in the middle of a forest. Where did the giraffe and the mouse come from?" And he says, "Love has no geographical boundaries." That's when I realized that nature affects everyone differently. For me, nature means peace. For him, apparently, it's family counseling for animals. He looks at a fallen tree and asks, "Do you think this tree fell because of love?" I say, "No. It was pulled out by its roots." He says, "How do you know?" "Maybe its love was very deep." And I stop talking. Because some conversations only become stranger the longer you continue them. We keep walking. Standing trees. Fallen trees. Leaves covering the ground. Birds somewhere in the distance. Sometimes neither of us says anything. And perhaps that silence is the most beautiful part. Because when everything becomes quiet, you can hear things you normally miss. Your footsteps. The wind. The birds. And your own thoughts. Maybe that's why I love nature so much. Not only because of its scenery, but because of the feeling it gives me. A feeling that says, you don't always have to hurry. You don't always have to be looking for something. Sometimes you can simply walk along an unknown path and enjoy the path itself. Maybe the destination isn't the important part. Maybe the walking and discovering are the destination. And perhaps that is the strange thing about nature. You enter the forest to escape your everyday thoughts. But in its silence, you find your memories. You find yourself. And sometimes, you find a friend who is still wondering where a giraffe and a mouse should go on their first date. But honestly, maybe this is what makes nature so beautiful. For some, it is peace. For others, adventure. And for someone else, a forgotten memory coming back to life. But for me, nature is a place to step away from the noise of life. To breathe, to walk, to discover, and to quiet the mind. Sometimes, life is simply this: the sound of leaves beneath your feet, the song of a bird in the distance, an unknown path. And a few moments of peace. That's all.